Welcome to Broadcast to Badass, where heart-led entrepreneurs learn to build the businesses and lives of their dreams with confidence, ease, and joy. This is the anti-hustle movement, and we're your coaches in badassery, Kimi and Pua.
Find out more at bledigital.com, and wherever you're listening to this, be sure to click subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Hey guys, this episode is a recording of a live interview that we did with Jennifer Carbajal, also known as JC, and Jennifer Sanchez. These two badasses are graduates of our Broadcast to Badass program, and they are just doing amazing work in the world. And they are going to be sharing with us all about life resiliency. And of course, resiliency is such a badass trait, and their mission is to help individuals to be better prepared to endure and grow from life's challenges and address obstacles in a meaningful, insightful way. They share with us their own amazing story of growth and expansion and how they're creating their best life ever by helping others to create more life resiliency. Listen in as they talk about their Broadcast to Badass journey and what they had to let go of in order to say yes to that calling in their soul. We are so excited to introduce these two to you. Definitely hop on over to our tribe on Facebook. Say hi to JC and Jen. Let them know that you heard this episode. You can get into our tribe by going to bledigital.com/tribe. Yay! Are we live on Facebook?
We are.
Yeah. Awesome. Woo, guys. We had
a journey.
Little bit of technical issues happening this morning with going live to Facebook, but that's okay. We are here and we are so excited for today. So we are here with some special guests, and we're actually doing a little bit of a live marathon today. So we have 3 back-to-back interviews that we're doing beginning right now. And our first interview today is with 2 very special women, JC and Jen. And hi guys, you guys can, yeah, there you go. So when you guys speak, it'll show your beautiful faces. So I'm going to just kind of set the stage for everybody here as you guys, hopefully you know us, Kimi and Pua of BLE Digital. And today's interview is really special for us. We get to introduce you and just kind of sit around and chat with these two badasses who have been in our community, and JC is a graduate of our program. And really, we feel that Jen is a graduate of our program too. They really went through this experience together. So if you guys aren't familiar with our program, it's called Broadcast to Badass, like our podcast, Broadcast to Badass. And it really is it's an 8-week experience, we'll say, but it's really not just limited to 8 weeks. It's setting the foundation for getting clarity, understanding what your mission is here, how to take your gifts, how to monetize them, how to get that clarity to figure out, okay, I have this thing in my heart and I'm ready to get it out to the world. And so it's the tech support, it's the branding support, and it's also the mindset support of helping you to take whatever it is that you desire to do and serve in the world and turn it into an online business. And so we're going to hear today from JC and Jen and hear about certainly their experience with B2B, but also just what they are meant to do here on the planet and how things have really evolved and shifted for them in this past year. So they have a beautiful story. We're so excited to have you both here. And we're just going to turn it over to you to give us a little introduction.
Awesome. So thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be a part of this and this new launch for B2B. I had a phone call with Pua the other day, one of the recent graduates, and I realized that a year ago, I was that person like trying my hardest to learn how to build a website and get a business going and just kind of floundering. And, it was starting to be not as exciting and fun. And then I came across B2B last year. from the beginning, just like it felt right intuitively. It felt like where I needed to be. And it helped me so much to really refine where my business needed to go. And just a little background for those that aren't familiar. I got out of the military last year and have started doing life resiliency full time because I did that in the military and I just loved it, found my passion and calling. And so have been trying to get that going. And B2B just not only helped me refine what I wanted to do and how to get the business off the ground, helped me get out of the way of like holding myself back because I've always been somewhat of a perfectionist. And I also met all these other people that are working to share their gifts with the world and do things to make the world a better place. And so I've also built incredible friendships and support systems. And, as life has evolved over the past year, if anything, B2B has helped me realize how much more I have to offer and how my initial, thought of I can do life resiliency is about so much more. It's about helping your soul become serene and find your higher calling and how to find true inner peace by meaning, purpose, and satisfaction in everything. And so I did right after finishing B2B and graduating, I did an initial pilot program, a beta offering, and it just went incredible. And it was so powerful. And, for this next iteration of the company, it's good timing because Jen, I don't know if you want to jump in at any time. As she was watching me through this process, she kind of got inspired to try and see, what her gifts are and what she truly wants to do in the world. And so we're going to do B2B all over again from this new place of intuitive decision-making and wanting to serve the world. And I'm just so excited.
I'll jump in. I would like to say you guys really have changed our lives. Just listening to the calls, I thought, well, what about my best life? I know I wasn't living my best life. I never really knew that I could combine my spirituality with not a career. I don't want to say career, but money, a way to sustain myself. I never knew that my spirituality could, do that. And now we're talking about I'm going to be helping with the company and the spiritual aspect of things and taking a break from my law practice because, like I said, I'm so inspired to see you guys living your best life. And when Jen and I met, we were in Washington, D.C., and we both had, really good high-paying jobs, but there was still something missing, and we knew that. Mm-hmm. And we've decided to simplify, and you guys have really helped us with our next chapter. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just so excited. I mean, like Jen said, she hit the nail on the head. When you're in a job and you're making lots of money, I mean, I'm not talking like we're not millionaires or anything, but we had enough money where we didn't have to worry about money. We could travel whenever we wanted. We could we wouldn't spend as much as we made. So we were real comfortable, but we were bored and our soul wanted something more, unfulfilled. And we decided to move back to Jen's hometown last year, which is Las Vegas, New Mexico. And the community here and the people, it's a small town of about 14,000, about an hour north of Santa Fe. And it's the kind of town where people go out for a ride to enjoy the fresh air after a rain. And you wave at everyone, even if you know them or if you don't. And if you go into a corner store, people genuinely want to know, how are you doing? How's your day? And if you need anything, you know that your neighbors will be there for you. And it's really nice to have that genuine connection in this small community. And it's given us the space to really reflect on what we want to do next to serve. Mm-hmm. And it started with serving the community. We involved in a lot of nonprofits around the area. Mm-hmm. And some events happened recently that showed us the power of the collective and coming together and how we can really make a difference. And so now we're looking to integrate that with whatever we do for a living. If for me, it's life resiliency with some soul spirituality, serenity, how to help us all get through this, 3D life where we have societal expectations and commitments that we need to do, but also we can do things to nourish and feed our soul. And so we're talking about maybe, traveling around, talking to people who have inspirational stories. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe it'll come together in a book. Maybe it'll come together in some sort of training. Maybe this place that we're living at will be some sort of healing center where people can come. We have ponds. We have ducks that live here. We have deer that come around in the summer. It's just so beautiful. We feel like maybe we want to share that. Mm-hmm. And we're just kind of surrendering to whatever is meant for us. And I feel honestly like B2B is meant to be in our life right now. And the offering for the graduates to be able to do it again to help us like fine tune what's next is just such divine timing that I'm like, this is incredible. Mm-hmm. That we're looking to revamp everything we're doing. So we're going to go through B2B again. That's a lot of B's I'm saying. And we're super excited that we're going to also offer this opportunity to others. Like, who wants to go along the journey with us? Mm-hmm. And whenever we have an offering, not only can you participate in that, but in our own, group, Facebook group, which before was ACE Life Resiliency Hacks, which now is, undergoing a transformation into whatever. Right now it's called Life Resiliency and Soul Serenity. We're going to have weekly calls where we talk about what we learned in B2B and how we're fine-tuning our business. And we love to talk to everyone else about what they're doing because I've been through it before. Like, I'm right there with you. I've been that entrepreneur that's spending 4 hours trying to figure out how to do something on WordPress so that like the button changes color when you hover over it.
I saw all this.
It was what rough. Are you doing? And I'm like, ah. But then with B2B, like it just started flowing. Yeah. Your lessons have so many. The one that is really powerful to me is like when we describe our ideal client and then like are very specific about what they look like, what they do, or they go have coffee. And then when I start doing like my copy for the company, then I just speak to that person and it just all wrapped together. So one last thing I want to say about Jen, not necessarily last, but she's you hit the nail on the head again with saying we're two badasses. We are. And Jennifer especially is like an undercover badass. And I told Pua earlier, I think I told you too, Kimmy, that she actually got that award at her last job. It was, one of those little funny awards they give when people are moving on. And it was, a little paper plate, but it did come with like a little mask and a cape. And they said, for Jennifer, we give her the Undercover Badass Award. Because she's like always behind the scenes, watching, observing, but she's incredibly like brilliant and talented. So unlike me that I'm like, blah, 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 get diarrhea of the mouth and you just keep going and going. And like to use Jen's words, you don't stop talking. Jen will like listen and then she'll like drop a truth bomb and I'll be like, ooh, that was good. And I'm just excited for her to step into that and own that because she is such a spiritual, profound healer. And just to, step into that and integrate that into our lives is so exciting. And I can't wait. I can't wait.
Holy shit.
Sorry, there's my, okay, let me clean up, I'm just kind of.
Oh, I think I may have given that to you. If my diarrhea of the mouth. I apologize. Wow, guys, first of all, I just want to say we didn't pay them to say any of this. And we're just sitting here like, thank you for sharing those words with us. And just, I sit here listening to you talk and I remember the JC that came to B2B and you were so excited and so like you were so focused on this one thing. And this was the thing. And it has to be perfect. And I'm working on this thing. And I had this one path. And then as you kind of went through B2B, your frame of reference and your frame of view started to expand and expand and expand. Mm-hmm. And I think you really sunk down into, and you said all of this, like the surrender, the listening to whatever is coming to you and allowing that to speak to whatever direction you were going to go in, even if it wasn't exactly this direction. Maybe you've shifted, but this one feels better. And now, like, you, not only are you practicing that for yourself and your business every day, but you are now sharing that, and you're guiding Jen through this process, and you're about to guide others through it. Like, it's so cool. Like, it's truly like the grasshopper has become the master, and it's just like, oh my God, it's so awesome. And there were so many things that you said where I was like, Pua, don't forget to ask about that. And of course I like forgot, but you came around beautifully. And I would just love for you to share now, you know, where you are in your service and who you serve. Like share with us who that person is that you have so much clarity around now, and what lights you up about what you do now.
Oh, wow. Such an awesome question. And that's a good question of what lights me up, because I've found more and more as I go through this process, sometimes things will start to feel, you know, for lack of a better term, like work, you know, like, oh, this is heavy. I have to do this, and that. And I've started to see that now. Now I can delineate between when something is not meant to be and I'm trying to force it, and when I just need to have a little bit of self-discipline because I'm excited about it, it's just work. And then there's work when, okay, this feels too heavy, I need to change direction. And so I think the best way that I got to that was just by doing. And like you said, I was trying so hard to have like everything perfect. And, you know, I was in the military for a long time, so I had my checklist and my process, and it was like, I have to have all these ducks in a row before like I can offer something. And Kimmy one day was just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. You're right. You have everything. Thank you. You have everything you need. You're just going to offer a pilot and you're just going to do it. And that was kind of like, for me, like oh my God, what if I fail? And then I realized the only thing really holding me back right now is my fear. Yeah. And if I start to look at things from a place of service, like people need these life resiliency lessons. I've taught them for years in the military. I know firsthand they can help people. I see the light bulbs going off and the shift in their mindset after they've learned these lessons. So I just went out there and I did it. And I did it with like the cookie cutter. Okay, these are my slides. These are my main points, blah, 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 blah. And I did it just like this on Zoom, online. And then after a few lessons, I started to just be authentic and share and be real and be like, okay, well, off the cuff, this is a story that resonates there for me. And I saw that connected to people. And then we just started having these conversations, and I would work in the material in them. And by the end of the 12 lessons, we were having like these deep, soulful, spiritual calls of like our higher selves and higher consciousness speaking to each other from this place of love and truth. And it became this community of support. And I thought, wow, this is what lights me up. This is my joy. I need to do more of this because it doesn't feel like work. It's just what I love to do. I'm good at it. Let me see where I can take this now. And, you know, Jen was kind of feeling a little bit about that with the law office. Like maybe we can do the law office and this. And then life happened. And we did some deep spiritual soul digging. And we're like, you know what? Let's make space for this and take a sabbatical. And we're going to put the law office on hold, you know, wrap up clients we have right now. We're going to take a sabbatical. And then we found out, oh, by the way, B2B's, transformed and you can do it again as a graduate. We're putting all the groups together. I was like, perfect timing. Jen and I are talking about doing this together. So now we're like, let's just go with what lights us up, explore that, see what develops into that. Whatever is meant to happen is going to present itself effortlessly. And if we find ourselves like in turmoil, feeling heavy, that's okay, because it's just showing us that we're off path. And then whatever lights us up is the path. And we're just going to keep doing that. And so not only is it going to make us feel fulfilled and satisfied, but we're going to be able to help so many people, which is why we came home to serve. And so, we're just excited.
Awesome. Wait, I know it's Kitty's turn, but I just have one thing to say. Yeah. And yesterday on the call, and this isn't a question, don't worry, I'm not going to take your turn, but yesterday on the call,
it's not my turn.
We're so good at going back and forth. I'm such an asshole right now, but I have to, or I'm going to forget. And I want to say it so bad. So, yesterday on the call, JC, you were there, Olivera was there typing away. And I just was it's interesting, right? Because we had a separate group for the graduates and it was the first time that I had seen and heard you on a call in a really long time. And I couldn't help but notice that, I became aware, and I've been seeing this as all of you go live on Facebook and talk about your programs, and I see you in your groups and just sharing about what you do. There was this new level of confidence, and it was so incredible. And I think there was a gap between the times that we had really connected. And so it was a very stark difference for me. Mm-hmm. And I realized that, and you touched on it just now. You said the reason why you weren't taking action was because of the fear. And so, you kind of stared that in the face and you took the action and you released your program and it was very stiff. And I mean, girlfriend, we've been there. We had some really stiff, uncomfortable looking shit that we put out in the world.
First webinar.
It was robots. But without doing that, you never get to that comfortable point. You never get to that point of confidence and learn what lights you up and what part of this is exciting for you that you want to follow. And I just want everybody listening to know that if you're in that place where you're doing something and it's very cookie cutter and you're just copying someone else's thing because that seems like the best route, that is where to start. That is exactly where to start. And that's how you get to the place that you are now, JC. So thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to say.
Absolutely. Exactly what I was going to say. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. And it's, I just saw on Instagram, actually another one of our graduates, Kay Yara, she posted a little meme that said, over planning kills magic. And she was just talking about how one of the shifts that she's experienced also is this, going from an over planner, having to have everything be so perfect. And we stay almost stuck there, kind of, trying to figure out, okay, I've got to have everything like this. But as Pua shared, as you shared, it's getting into action. Action is what creates our clarity, our confidence. And we have, it gets those first iterations out that we need to, that are stiff and robotic, so that we can really just sink into, as you said, that flow of okay, I just decided to be myself and let my light shine. But yeah, so beautiful. And I will say too, the thing that I always think about with you, JC, is I remember that conversation like it was yesterday. And it came from the fact that you have had this dream in you for quite some time, this idea, this vision. And so there is that tipping point, right, for people where it's and I think that tracking, shining awareness on it, being surrounded with other people that are watching your journey too, and there to support you and are on the same mission, all of that helps, because we can see you may not feel in this moment because you're here that, okay, I don't know if it's quite ready, but everyone around you in this supportive community is girl, you are ready. You are ready. And so, yeah, it's just been really beautiful to witness and to share with anybody that's kind of what, the groups, what, to catch everyone up to speed. Pua and I also, it's really important to us to follow our intuition, and we're constantly evolving. And as we evolve, as we learn, as we invest in ourselves and learn new things, we're sharing it with our community and shifting and changing things. And I that is the thing that I'm the most proud of the way that we do business, is that if something doesn't feel right, if it feels sticky, we figure out how to make it feel light again. If it feels heavy, we either don't do it or we shift it in some way. And when something feels light, when it excites us, when it lights us up, then we follow that. And one of the biggest shifts that we've made is to close enrollment for our program. So we had as you guys know, we had rolling enrollment for our 8-week program. And it comes from such a service-based place, right? We're like, we just want to have it be available for anybody anytime that they're ready. But as we know, right, the more launch strategies that we study, the more that we really recognize that human psychology, we typically need some urgency, right? Especially when it's to get us out of our heads and into action. And so we made this shift. And also the energy that happens when you have a group of people going through the same experience at the same time is so powerful, as you've experienced, right? And so our next cohort, our favorite word, cohort of B2B is going to happen December 4th is our first day. And so CART closes on the 28th. And one of those decisions that we made, as you alluded to, is that we're encouraging and inviting all of our B2B graduates to go through that experience again. And we love the way that you are taking people through this experience, right? So really as a badass partner here, as part of this collective mission that we all share to help people to get out there and get out of your heads and just start serving. Get those awkward first runs out there so that you can sink into your soul and really, really help the people that need your help. And I feel, and I would love for you both to speak to this, I know that one of the shifts internally that happened was you really recognizing that people needed the gifts that you had. And that flip internally that happens when we realize that perfectionism or, having to make sure everything is just so is actually depriving somebody of the help that you can give them right now. So love for you to share about service and anything that's coming up for you right now.
For me, so I have made some progress in it, but like most humans, I have areas that I still need to grow through. For me, going to that place where I remember that it's about serving others is a continual process that I have to remind myself about. And I have only got that from the B2B community. Like, full disclosure, I went through another, business development online program, and it was so do this, and here's all you need for administrative stuff. This is how to sell out and blah, blah, blah. And I got stuck. I got to a point where, I don't know if you remember that. I was just like, okay, I have everything I need, but I have so much to do. I don't know what to do. And so I didn't do anything, and I just got stuck. And the very first call, I talked to you about that, Kimmy. And later we talked about it, Pua, about it's not about you. It's about serving others. And then it was like, what am I doing? Let me get on this and do it. And still with particularly social media, I have my boundaries that I've set where I check it once or twice a day, because it's so heavy to be constantly bombarded with everything going on in the world. But at the same time, I'm I need to get back to the people that need to hear about resiliency or this and that. And technology, although it can be very detrimental if used improperly, it's so amazing. And B2B helped me see that as well, because Pua is or Kimmy, and you guys are so interchangeable. When you say stuff in my head, it's like one voice speaking. So I just say Kimmy and Pua. And then when I want to be funny, I'll talk about Cabot. But you guys showed us that. How amazing is that nowadays you can put out there this helpful service that you want to change the world with. And in an instant, you can reach millions of people all over the world. And the ones that relate to you can connect to you instantaneously. And that's when I got, oh, this is powerful. This is amazing. Kimmy and Pua are showing us the way through B2B. And some of the other graduates and I have really connected through that as well. And now I feel like in addition to you two, you know, Elsie's another amazing graduate. So is Coach O.M. Oliveira. And we all talk about that. Like, okay, this is bubbling up for us. And then we get back to the place of serving from light and love and what feels heavy and how we can transmute it into something that's going to not just help us, but help others. And so it's just incredible how we all come together, and it's going to keep growing because then we're going to have our different communities that are going to share those gifts, and it just multiplies from there. So as heavy as technology can seem, for me, the biggest transformation is to see it from a place of service. And that's what comes up for me as far as serving. And I know
I did want to say one thing. It's something we were talking about earlier, is that I did take JC's class, and it's incredible. I was very, very life-changing. I just wanted to say that because I didn't say it earlier. But yeah. So that also inspired me to you guys and me to work from a higher place.
Yes, and to serve. I mean, Jen's very humble as well, but she's always wanted to serve larger communities as well. I mean, she was also in the military at one point many years ago, and then has worked for a lot of advocacy in like marginalized, underrepresented communities, and she's, like I said, undercover badass. It takes a little to get her to come out of her shell, but when she does, it's just really profound and moving. So just excited about her to serve as well. See, she giggles because she's like so humble. And like Pua said, in the first call with B2B, I was kind of like, oh, I want to do this and this, and I'm excited about it, but I don't know how. But now I'm like, this is powerful. Mm-hmm. These are amazing lessons. Yeah. Like this confidence that's coming across now is 100% a result of going through the program and working with other people to reflect back to me what my gifts are and my calling. And that's what anyone can get from this program. If you kind of just have a little idea or some sort of spark, like I have this gift and I want to share it with the world, but I don't know how, and blah, blah, blah. By the time you get through this program, you're going to be like, okay, you're owning it, you're doing it, you have other people to support you. And you can be on one of these calls too. Like,
and I saw the change in Jen right away because she was stuck and frustrated and all these things. Talking to you guys, even, after the first time, she was ready to, she became motivated again. And it's been incredibly, incredibly life-changing, really.
And then when I was stuck, I had, you guys to be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. But you have what you need. Just do it. And I had that in that previous company that I was with, but it didn't come. Mm-hmm. But when you guys said, okay, you need to do this, I was like, they're right. They would let me know if I had to like fine tune something or make it energetically shift so it feels better. But if they're telling me I'm ready, I trusted that and I went with that and it just felt right. So again, if it goes with your intuitive feeling of just do it, you will not regret it.
Guys! Oh. Thank you. Hug, virtual hug. Yeah. Gosh,
it's so special to have Jen. Sorry to interrupt, but it's so special to have Jen on this call too, because you are such an undercover badass. And throughout the B2B experience, when JC was in her 8 weeks, it would be so fun to see you sort of like just pop in the corner of the screen when we were doing a call, and you just be like, hi, but you're always there, and we could feel your presence. And it's just a testament to your open mind and open heart that you were there absorbing and listening and being this supportive force for JC. And as you supported her, it opened up your heart in just incredible ways. So I just really want to honor you and tell you how beautiful and powerful it is for us to see you sitting here next to JC too. So thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
Thank you for saying that, Kuma. See,
That's
That's really what we both of our names on here should just
That's like our
I don't know. And I'll just leave it at that. And it is such a big deal for Jen to be on camera today because she's extremely shy. And through all my 8-week B2B calls, every time I'd be like, Jen, do you want to sit in on this one? And she'd be like, no, it's okay. I'll just listen. And sometimes she'd literally be like right next to me outside the camera view, intently like listening, eating a yogurt or whatever, like eating it all up. And so for her to be like, okay, I'm going on camera. Let's do this. This is huge. And I'm so excited. Thank you for pointing that out.
So awesome. And I feel like every coach in the world is about to kick my ass for what I'm about to say. But I do want to say that like coaching, all it does is brings out what is already true inside of you. Mm-hmm. Everything that you said today was already in you. Mm-hmm. And for this to finally surface, like, I feel like, oh God, like finally this world is in good hands, you know? Like and that's all we want from anybody ever. Anybody that's listening to this saying, okay, yeah, there is something inside of me. I'm going to go to work right now. I don't want to anymore. Right. And like, awareness number 1, cool. Where are we going to go from there? And it's this journey that we're just guiding people through, bringing up what you already know to be true inside. And the coolest part about listening to you today and seeing our community as we've merged it now and listening, like even yesterday on the call, people were talking about like our current B2B members, our most recent graduates are partnering up and doing calls and joining programs with our OG B2B folks. And you guys you're in each other's programs. Like you're doing calls and masterminds with each other. And it's like, this is what we had envisioned this program becoming. And for you guys to become the guides for people coming through next, right? And you're there saying, hey, like this is inside of you. I know that. I see it. You may not see it yet, but it's time for it to come out. And so I would love I know we're kind of running up on time, but I would love for you to share a little bit about the community itself and kind of partnerships that you've created and the power. You kind of touched on it earlier, but just what was that experience like for you in terms of support and accountability?
Wow. So I hit on it a little because that's such a big part of B2B. It's kind of like the unspoken bonuses that you get that naturally arise by virtue of what it is. So of course you get like everything that you see listed on the website and the meetings and everything. But what I didn't anticipate getting, which is actually the best part, is being part of the community, not just on social media, like comments, but like you said, we have Zoom calls with each other and we talk about like the program and where we're at individually with ourselves and like what's feeling heavy, what's not. And I've made such strong, sincere connections with people. I mean, let's see, how can I articulate it in words? And Olivera would be, one of the other graduates would be really good about this because her gift, and I told her this the other day on the call, is that she can use language to describe in all different kinds of ways an energy and emotion that you can't really put words to. And so that's kind of like the gratitude, strong connection, like soul-based community that you kind of get from B2B, because we've all been there and we're all coming from this place that connects us. Like we all know what it's like to feel fearful. We all know what it's like to feel joy and bliss. And B2B by itself helps you see how to transform that when it doesn't feel right. And then when other people have done the same thing, they can be like, oh, yeah. I went through this feeling heavy to me as well. Let me tell you what I did to kind of work through it. Some people have blocks with, for me, it's the whole perfectionist. I have to have everything perfect. And then I get people to say, I was like that too. I was an OCD planner. And this is what I did to help me get out of it. Or I've always had a lot of blocks around like money and monetizing things because money's not important to me. And that's not, what motivates me to create. And then someone else will say, oh, well, I had that block too. And this is what I did to kind of help it become more of an energetic exchange as opposed to like a monetary transaction. And so being able to talk to other people that have changed heavy work, task-oriented things to something that we enjoy and get bliss out of and are excited to do is just immeasurable. How can you put that into words and say, like, I want a group where everyone's going to help me feel better when I don't feel good? You're going to be like, oh, well, good luck finding that. But like with B2B, it's like, oh, shit, I did find people that can help me do this. And this is awesome. And like, I know in my heart that we're going to be friends for so long and probably visit, in actual life. And I've met like graduates before, previous graduates that I knew now, like, it's several cohorts deep now where I'm like, oh, Rebecca, I love you. I love what you've done and your business is incredible and you're writing this great book. And she's like, and then later I find out weeks later, I'm like, oh, you did B2B too? Like, of course we get along. This is why. So just the nature of people that are called to and resonate with B2B, we all have so much in common that if it resonates with you a little, it's a sign and it's a calling and you're meant to be here. Just like Jen wasn't planning on being with it, but she heard it and she started listening to it. It was like, this is some good stuff. Like they're talking about how to live your best life ever and structure what you do around that and what feels good. And like, how can you go wrong when you're doing that? And so now here we are, round 2, and she's going along the ride with me. And I'm so grateful to have a partner that is supportive of that. And, some people have heavy stuff with like my partner doesn't understand. And then there's other people that have gone through it. Like, this is how I worked through it with my partner. And so any like roadblocks or things that come up, know that you're not alone. We've been through the same things. We've worked through it. And you'll hear from other people in the interviews today and how they're in a good place too and their transformation. And you'll see the common thread of like, yeah, we can label it broke ass to badass, but it's really about just like living your best life and finding a community to help you through it. Because without the community, it could be any other program, that helps you set up a business. But the community in this group, you can't put a price tag on that or like find it anywhere else. That's the true power. And it's led by you two, and you two are so amazing. Like, thank you for doing what you do.
Oh my goodness.
Should we do it in real life event?
Yes.
Get everybody together
in a second. Like I will.
We'll host.
Yeah.
Deal. Oh my God, that would be so amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait.
Yes.
Let's keep planning this.
Let's plan it. We'll plan it. Oh, okay. So, well, before our next interview, I need to like get tissue and get I feel like I'm like, I have to wipe my mascara that's starting to run from all the tears from this. And this has just been so special and so moving and so meaningful. I know to me and Pua. This is where Pua and I share a brain and a heart. And this is just, it's everything that it just means everything to us. So thank you so much. And we want to make sure that everybody knows where they can connect with both of you, beautiful souls. So tell us where people can find you, all the places where they can find out more about what you do, your course, your community. Yeah, share with us all things.
Absolutely. And so the name of the company is Maya. Our first program offering was ACE Life Resiliency Hacks. So if you see that name floating around, it's currently going under a transformation. So the best place to find us is MAIA.life.com. And there's a place there where you can sign up for all the updates and see how the business transforms and how Jen's gifts are going to begin to be shared. And you can witness, us going through B2B again. And if you are interested, we have some bonuses. If you join B2B through us, you'll be able to talk with us about us going through the process, and you can bounce ideas off of us as well. And MayaLife.com, that's the direction we're going. And it's going to be all about life resiliency and soul serenity, because that was the biggest thing that we got from our first iteration of B2B is our offering is so much more than just life resiliency, about living in this 3D. It's about finding soul serenity at all levels of consciousness and from your higher self, and how to find that and grow it, sustain it, keep it. And so MayaLife.com, that's us. And thank you again for having us. We're so excited for everything coming.
Oh, we love you
for being
both.
Here. Your website is banging.
Woo!
I love it.
Thank
I haven't been here in a while.
And it's going to get even better. So stay tuned. Check it out and look us up. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Guys. Love you guys.
We love you.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode with JC and Jen. Aren't they awesome? You can find out more about them at MayaLife.com. That's MAIALIFE.com. And as you heard, our next round of our 8-week program, Broadcast to Badass, begins December 4th, and doors are closing November 28th. So now is the time to find out more, jump on board if your soul is calling you to do so. Find out more at broadcasttobadass.com. And in case you missed it in our last episode, we have a gift for you, our new weekly planning guide for entrepreneurs. This system helps us to be kinder to ourselves and level up our business and our life every month. You can grab your free Broadcast to Badass Biz Planner by going to bledigital.com/badass. Let us know how it goes for you. You can tag us on Instagram at Broadcast to Badass. Let us know what you think of the planner. Let us know what you thought of this episode. And we will be back in your ears real soon.